Hello.
Hi, how are you?
So how long have you been teaching?
30 years.
30 years.
Mhm.
And you were in first grade for a long time?
20 years, yeah.
So you taught fluency.
Oh, yes.
So that's what this class is all about. Um, so I chose like this lesson because I feel like my kids have been exposed to it in the past, but like digraphs, whenever we read it, like even my higher group in small
Mhm.
reading, like they struggle with it, like they'll forget. And so I really like the secret stories that I found.
Mhm.
Actually, another veteran teacher, Mandy Schneider, showed me it because like it's a story that they can use
Right.
to remember it, like it's meaningful, it creates, and there's a big picture of it that you can also hang up on the wall. So I just remind them, like, look up there, and that I feel like had made it much more effective. I also liked how we used choppers to break things up. I think that works a lot, like works really well for them. That was a specific strategy that I wanted to use this
Yeah,
lesson.
that helps definitely with knowing if it's at the beginning, the middle, or the end, then when you do that.
Yeah, and then I just try to like put a lot of examples in there of like with pictures as well as the words. So I think that was effective because some of my students who couldn't read the words yet, they were able to like use that to help them read the words, and it was like things that were meaningful to them. Like I know I have a boy who loves sharks, so I put a shark in there, and I have a kid who loves chips, so I put chips in there, and just things that are real in their lives and like words we actually hear when we're reading.
Yeah.
But what do you think that is something that I could improve on? I know when you were watching it, you talked about possibly having kids like come up. So like when would I have
I think when you had the
like the paragraph?
fluency paragraph up there, you could ask someone to come up and find a word that has a digraph,
Yeah.
and maybe they could either like find the digraph in the word, talk about if it's the middle, beginning, end, sound it out, chunk it that way.
Yeah, and after I did it, I thought because my kids love drawing, so I thought of yeah, maybe one kid goes up there, underline it, and like do a quick sketch of what they think it is. You know what I mean? Like they have to sound it out and then go over what it is, just to keep them because it was kind of long. So I think that's one thing that I would want is to possibly break it up into smaller chunks. And I had extra first graders, so
That makes it
that
even
makes
harder.
that made it harder.
Mhm.
Um, but I really like one thing that I picked up again from another veteran teacher was the choppers, and then my callbacks I feel like were effective. They were kind of chatty because the first graders, but I think those are effective in like just getting it back on track with like a longer lesson like that. Um, and then in the video you can see like I just always have them participating. Like some the boys that I set the camera by, they always like to shout out, but they're always like focused on it. You know
They
what I
were.
mean?
Yeah. They were actively listening to you and trying to, answer
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, and also I noticed because at the end I did thumbs up, thumbs down, like you saw. But I kind of needed to do some like another step to set them up for success with the worksheet. Like I think next time I could put it under the projector and possibly like do two of the problems with them. Because the worksheet I'll show you, but it was like different pictures, like a whale and a shark, and they had three different colors. I just did WHCH and something else, and they had to color code it, like a coloring for WH, a different color for CH. So just modeling that, like, okay, let's break it up. Whoa, L. Do we hear whoa or sh or ch? And then having one of them color it because I feel like some of them, like when we started it after I passed it out after the video, they were like, what am I doing? And I had to be like, okay, this is what you have to do. This, especially with the first graders, like that was
So they had to color each diagram a different color.
so like it was pictures. I wonder if I could put it. It was just little pictures. So like there was like a little cartoon whale, a little cartoon chips, and then up in the corner it said WH blue, CH red. So if it had WH, they had to color it blue. If it had CH, they had to color it red. You know what I mean?
So you might just want to start with a simpler activity where there's not so many different components to it. Maybe they just have to.
I understood it like pretty quickly, but
Okay.
taking that extra step to like model it,
Yeah.
or yeah, possibly like expose it in small groups when I can like control like what they're seeing and be like, okay, this is something we'll do individually at some point, but we're going to do this all together just to like front load them of what it is and what's expected.
And just I'm sure you have some of those, maybe just do a story that just has the CH in it and really practice that. And then one with just the TH before you start putting them all together in one thing together.
Other than that, I think it was helpful. I think they'll memorize the secret stories. They've memorized the vowel ones a lot. They love it. Like the beginning, the girl, she even stood up and did the movement that I does. But yeah, I think that was the biggest.
I really like the stories, like that the PH had a phone in it so they can remember phone. And then, those were really, really good stories.
I like them. And they have a lot like for just for everything, like the long, why the two, like when two letters, two vowels go walking, just a bunch of them that they really like. So I think that'll just help build their fluency and build their confidence when they get to a word that's not familiar. But other than that, all right, thank you.
I'm proud of you.